write-up of that last crime was so ingenious that Purlock Publishing tossed me quite a tidy sum. I believe this next one will do even better.
It's baffling. The room was locked. How did the murderer get in and out?
I wonder if someone could tell me more about this. I should go back and ask about this. Well now, I didn't ask about this. Well now, I didn't ask about this.
I'm just the housekeeper, but Mr. Casham was a dear friend. Each morning I bring him his coffee. Today his door was locked shut. My husband is the caretaker. We live downstairs. We have the keys to all the apartments, so after knocking, I became concerned and let myself in and found him like this. The lights weren't working. My husband didn't want to waste any candles, so we retired early. Mr. Cashin was a respected music critic, a very accomplished man.
Gone just just like that, eh? He lived right next door and often came home from his concerts a bit drunk and singing at the top of his lungs. Drove my wife near crazy. I was down in the cellar fiddling with my experiments. Cashin had an eye for the ladies, no question. I was a bit jealous of him, frankly. That belongs to Mr. Golden. He's an awfully nice chap. We let him use our apartment during the day when my wife and I are out tending our shop. He likes to rehearse here where the light's better. I'm an amateur chemist. Henman let me set up a few experiments in the cellar.
Mr. Cashin is dead? I just saw him yesterday. He looked in the peak of health. If you ask me, he paid a bit too much attention to the caretaker's wife. Scandalous, really. They must have seen each other nearly every day. Last night, I was knitting in that chair. Then I felt quite sickly and opened the window to clear my head. I certainly didn't hear anything. When the lights quit working yesterday, that sweet Mr. Golden handed out candles to everyone. He's such a nice man.
It's true. I loved him. He was the best thing that ever happened to me.
I wonder if someone could tell me more about this.
I work very late. So did he. I only met him once or twice in the 2 years I've been living here. I was out giving a benefit recital for unemployed musicians. Several dozen people can attest to my whereabouts. I use them to create an ambience when I hold private recitals.
I wonder if someone could tell me more about this. I should return and find out about this.
Mr. Cashin's dead. Difficult to believe. He led a quiet life. Out at concerts most nights, shut up in his room writing the rest of the time. He must have been a lonely man. My wife felt sorry for him and helped him as often as she could. I'm in charge of the running and upkeep of the whole building, so I can get dirty now and then. I was just doing some work in the basement.
I should go back and ask about this.
I forgot to put it away after I fixed Mr. Golden's music stand yesterday morning. I left it there, and he came to give it back. The gas quit working yesterday. I don't know enough to fix such things safely myself. A man from the company is going to come by tomorrow.
Ah, yes, be careful with that. It can be dangerous. It reacts badly with heat.
He destroyed an entire orchestra. All those musicians put out of work. A rancorous old man who had no talent or creativity of his own.
I suspect there was more to that mystery than meets the eye. I'm going to look into it.
Up to the clink with you!
Think of that. Crushed by a crate. The most hated man in London.
Can you imagine achieving such a title? One day my brilliance will bring me similar recognition.
Mr. Raymond, what are you talking about?
It's of no consequence. What's important is that this man was hated by many. But who delivered the fatal blow?
I know the man. He's hated by everyone. Surprisingly, it's not clear what killed him. I find multiple wounds. No need to send many people to jail for killing such a terrible man. What say you only arrest the single person who actually caused his death? He appears to have been stabbed with a perforating weapon, perhaps a spike of some kind. There would be bleeding and it would affect motor control right away, but death wouldn't come for another 6 minutes. I suspect that there is at least one deadly toxin in his system.
That man's a right bastard. I hope he's smouldering in hell. Well, I'm not a crane operator. I wouldn't know how to work that.
He owned this site and paid us. We all hated him because he looked for any excuse to cheat us out of our wages. I didn't hate him any more or less than my mates. That's around the time I'm given a few minutes to eat something. About then, I would have been buying myself an apple at the stand down the street. It's difficult to work properly. You'd have to know what you're doing to drop it at just the right moment. Eddie? Yeah, I taught him how to work the crane a few days ago.
He stopped by here every day at the exact same time. He'd buy an apple and try to cheat me out of tuppence. But then most folks do that. Yeah, that sounds right. Came by for an apple. He was here when we heard the crate hit the ground.
I believe I should re-interrogate a suspect.
Ashton stops in front of this pub every afternoon to check on business rumors. Something of a bastard, Ashton. Told me he had a bit of jam on the side, if you know what I mean. Wife didn't know about it. Well, the bit of jam wants out, but he won't let her. That's the sort of fellow we're speaking of. That was Ashton's doing. The man had it in for me. He paid workers to wreck my machines. Cost me a fortune. As long as he was around, I'd never prosper. As a matter of fact, I do carry a revolver at all times. It can be a dangerous neighborhood for a wealthy fella such as myself. This proves nothing.
I see him here every day. He can be unpleasant, but I don't really know him.
He's been coming to me for years. He arrives precisely at 1 o'clock and leaves 2 minutes later. He takes a bluish medication every day and prefers that I administer it.
Mary is a trusted assistant. As far as I know, she's completely above board. Today, she swept the shop and prepared some medications. She also fetched herself an apple from the apple stand.
Well now, I didn't ask about this.
This really is none of your business. He came to me for his blue medication. I gave him blue medication.
Girl who works at the pharmacy? Yeah, she slipped me an extra threepence. She had a special app just for Mr. Ashton. I gave him that one when he come by. Mr. Ashton did look strange-like. Eyes all yellowish. And then he turned pale after he bit into the apple. Almost green, really.
He's my husband. Each day I bring him the household expenses just after he eats his apple. I also brought him his invitation to the knighthood ceremony, the one with the special scepter. Of course, he wasn't going to take me along. I often tie up my hair around a knitting needle. What business is it of yours? I'll be the toast of the town.
A very unpleasant fellow. But what was that business about a knighthood ceremony?
Up to the cliff with you!
In any case, Mr. Raymond will have a story for Perloff Publishing.
My dear friend, the Ghost Club has an extraordinary case for you. Spiritualist Thaddeus the Amazing has predicted his own death at his next séance. Could you have a look?
Is this queue even moving?
We have a visitor.
What is happening here?
Help!
Not yet. Someone, light the lamps.
Oh, he's actually dead.
I believe I should re-interrogate a suspect.
Nothing but a showman, really. Each week he gave a séance with all his clients present together. So many people makes everything much more dramatic. I attend Lady Ursula at these sessions. She's ailing and needs someone to help her along. I have no particular belief in an afterworld, but if it comforts Milady, I see no harm.
This is so frustrating. I had a simple question, but have had to come back for séance after séance, week after week. Each time Thaddeus divined a partial number from the other side, but never the entire correct number. Today he promised that I would get everything. Thaddeus felt that if I signed some papers, it would demonstrate to my dead father that I had absolute trust in Thaddeus.
He was an incredible psychic. I came to clarify some personal financial matters. I don't understand what happened. He foretold his own death, but I didn't expect it to happen like this.
I sought him out after the death of Mittens. I was so hoping to hear from my loved one. I'm convinced Thaddeus could have communicated Mittens' wishes to me. I must know to whom Mittens wishes that I should leave my fortune. And now Thaddeus is lost to us. I shall never know. Mittens is my beloved kitty cat. She was run over by a milk wagon several weeks ago. I've been trying desperately to contact my sweet thing ever since. I'm not well, though, and likely haven't long to live myself.
I have no doubt that his powers were genuine. He was able to tell me of my daily comings and goings, and all manner of details that he couldn't possibly have known. He certainly was going to be able to put me in contact with my sister. I'm so sorry to lose Thaddeus. The oddest part is that he claimed all would be revealed to each of us before his death. I've been coming here to decide whether I should accept a marriage proposal. Thaddeus had been attempting to contact my departed sister so that she could give me advice. Thaddeus was a kind man who sincerely wanted me to make the best choice. Now what am I to do?
My brother has become obsessed with some secret bank account. He inherited almost all of my father's fortune, as well he should as the male heir, but some was locked in a secret account. I think it unlikely that it should be a significant amount. I went along to the seances a couple of times. I thought it was a waste of my brother's time. Power of attorney to a psychic? That sounds very unusual indeed.
I should return and find out about this.
Never trust a man who tells you what you want to hear. He's after something. Taking advantage of my daughter's love for her departed sister. With that charlatan gone, things can get back to normal. My daughter's engagement to Everett Boyd can be announced at last. Janice's elder sister was strong-willed. Janice always followed her lead. That's why it's so sad that she asks her advice, even in death. Time for Janice to think for herself. I know what's best for her. A girl Janice's age should be married. Everett is a very sensible young man from a good family. He'll be very successful, I'm sure of it.
Her father mentioned this swindler to me. I understand it's because of him that my engagement has been delayed. I know the owner of a local brewery, and I'm convinced his business will flourish. He just needs some financial backing. Now Janice is free to be married at last. I'll invest my dowry in the brewery and make a fortune. Janice is a lovely creature. I would be honored were she to accept my proposal. I do adore her.
Lady Ursula's health is not good at all. And now she's lost her cat, it's almost like she has nothing left to live for. He's been Lady Ursula's butler for years. We have plans to marry. But first, Douglas needs to put together a little nest egg. He says he'll have some money soon. Lady Ursula was planning to leave her fortune to her cat Mittens. Since the cat passed on, she's been going to that spiritualist in hopes that Mittens will tell her what to do with the money.
That's me. Yeah, some fella come by here every so often. Gives me a silver sixpence if I tell him everything about the folks in that house. Nothing unusual about him. Just a regular fella. I seen him go into that building over there.
Well now, I didn't ask about this.
You think someone paid Thaddeus to tell my lady that a cat wanted them to inherit? Well, that would be quite a clever scheme indeed.
My own sister, paying Thaddeus off? I thought he was a bit too insistent that I sign that paper. Well, Anne is going to get a good talking to, believe you me.
Good Lord, you found the office? I admit it, then. Thaddeus and I traveled the world, bamboozling the gullible and then exposing the swindle. But his death was meant to be a fake. I have no reason to want Thaddeus dead. Quite the contrary.
You believe that Everett paid Thaddeus to manipulate me? It cannot be true. Thaddeus knew all of my comings and goings. He genuinely could communicate with the world beyond.
I simply do not believe it. And if you're implying that my butler was paying Thaddeus, I must ask you, why would a great psychic do the bidding of a common butler?
He was going to reveal my plot. He paid the price for betraying a fellow crook.
This Thaddeus fellow was rather too clever by half. But you pieced it all together very cleverly.
Up to the cake with
Mr.
you!
Raymond was particularly interested in this one. He admired the duplicity of Thaddeus.
Hey! Someone help! Some trap found something down there! Looks like foul play!
I should return and find out about this. Well now, I didn't ask about this.
I heard a splash, and right quick pulled this bloke out of the shallows, dead as a mackerel. I live there now, if you can call it living. I lost my job, didn't I? No need for the likes of me when a machine can do the work. The midnight train, that must be the 616. Stops in the station down the road. If you hurry, it might still be there. A nice warm coat like that on a dead man?
What do you expect? I snatched it before somebody else came along to nick it. Like you.
Go on. Here now. There you go. Go on. Come on. Easy now.
Did you hear something? But I'm still...
You better hurry. It's leaving right now.
I wonder if someone could tell me more about this. I believe I should re-interrogate a suspect. I should return and find out about this.
Nothing unusual at all. I had a drink with some gents and then retired to my sleeper. The rich fella, I did talk with him. Very charming. But a single woman has to be careful, you know? Did something happen to him? Someone slipped a note under my sleeper door a few minutes before midnight. It said I should come to the dining car. I went, but only Ryan and Wolfsman were there, and they were both drunk. Oh, all right. I flirt with rich blokes, and the barman slips them a mickey. I take them back to my sleeper, and they nod off before I have to do anything shameful.
They wake up thinking they had a night of fun and hand me a few quid. That's what happened with Mr. Killian, but he was gone when I come back from looking for the man who left the note.
Mr. Wolf had a few with Mr. Killian. Then the young lady invited herself over to have a glass with him. Mr. Wolf bought him drink after drink. Then they got angry. But the young lady come over, and it's obvious that Mr. Killian was interested in a rendezvous, like. Around about 11:30, Killian and her left together. Mr. Wolf became terribly tired, even though he'd only had one drink. He toddled off to bed well before midnight. I stayed in the dining car for a few drinks with the barman.
I had drinks in the dining car with Killian. We had business dealings in the past. It was a pleasant surprise to discover him on this train. I suppose there were some disagreements, but there always are when a great deal of money is involved. I felt unusually tired and came back here to get some sleep. Sam, he's a trusted valet. He's terrifically strong, which makes him useful in many situations. You mean the young lady? She and Killian hit it off famously. Embarrassing, really.
I've been Mr. Wolf's valet for going on several years. He's frail and needs a man like me to help him about.
Godding boys, some noises on the roof woke me up briefly. You say someone was thrown from up there? You have to be a very strong fella to drag someone up onto the roof. Killian was on this train. Cool. I used to work in his foundry. I never even seen him. None of us workers ever knew what he looked like. Vivian had another of her dupes in her compartment by then. After that, I remember people going past me from time to time, but I was half asleep. Vivian had another of her dupes in her compartment by then. After that, I remember people going past me from time to time, but I was half asleep. That one. Clever little minx. She and the barman got a little scam going. I think everyone on the staff knows about it.
Nothing unusual. A couple of passengers came in and had a sort of business meeting. One of them was buying a lot of drinks for the other, and then they started to argue. But Vivian went over and joshed them out of it. She's a frequent passenger, that one. Hangs about with the wealthier sort. Likes to entertain them, if you take my meaning. Oh, well, it's a noisy train. Plenty of passengers have trouble getting to sleep, so I keep a sedative here behind the bar, yeah? Yeah, I helped Vivian fleece the dupes. I slipped a pill in the wine for the table. Both gents got sleepy, but Vivian picked the richest one.
It was a typical evening. As far as I knew, nothing unusual happened until you came aboard with this story of a murder. Just another wealthy passenger. They're all pretty much the same. I was tidying up in the passenger car. Around midnight, Vivian ran through. She thought someone was looking for her. She rides the train often. She's very friendly with the other passengers. I gave him what he deserved. The man was heartless.
I believe something larger is afoot. A lot of murderous anger concerning industrialists. Might be something to look into.
Up to the cliff with you!